You all, we are not licensed professionals. You know, we are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Welcome back to another episode of Friendship University. I'm Kristen, and as you know, I am joined by my phenomenal, handsome host, Miki.
What it do, baby?
What it do? How you doing this week?
Up until like 30 minutes ago, I was good, mainly because I had to work on this thing that took a little longer than I expected it to take, which was kind of annoying because I was like, I really don't want to do this, but outside of that, I'm good. How about yourself?
That's fair. I hate when things take longer, but I'm good. It's been a interesting couple of days. I'm tired as always. but I'm here. I'm just trying to count down to next week when I go to Comic-Con.
Hey.
What it do, baby?
I'm going to ask you a follow-up question about that in like 2 seconds. But the reason I just had to explain why I started like giggling out of nowhere. So we went to a show on Friday night here in Atlanta. Will Clarke, you a real one.
Ooh, even though you made us wait the entire night for the one song we came there to hear.
So during the show, this gentleman he taps like everyone in his surrounding area. He's like, hey, move out the way, or whatever. I didn't know what was really going on. It was really loud in there. I had like 2 rum and cokes by that point, so I was like, I don't really know what he wants, but I'm gonna get out of his way. Me thinking, which side note, Will Clarke, he's an electronic artist, tech house music, that kind of stuff. So that kind of vibe going on. And I was like, okay, maybe he's about to drop some sick dance moves or something.
Oh, they were sick, all right.
Ooh, he was sick of something by the end of that. So old boy decides to do a backflip in the club. And let me tell you, drop it, little girl. Drop it.
Let's just say he did not make it all the way around in the flip. Yo, I can't. What you're missing out of that is he wasn't just telling people to back up. Before that, he was going around tapping people on the shoulder saying, flip. Oh,
I missed that part.
Flip. And literally every single person was like, no. I distinctly remember saying, no, thank you.
My ass probably would have thought it was like a new kind of drug or something. Flip? What's that? I don't do flip. What's that? I don't ever heard of that one.
Woo, that
Oh boy, with him in the ground, dance partners that night. That shit was so fucking funny.
Shout out to you because that was the highlight of the night, honestly. Will Clarke, you really did your thing, and I enjoyed myself. But that, woo, I hope you're okay, because he left after that, right? We didn't see him again for the rest of the night.
He was out. No, that looked like it hurt. We may or may not drop video on the socials. Thankfully to our ambiguous mutual friend that we have yet to name, who's sitting next to me once again.
They don't want to be named, so until they give the okay, we won't name them.
I know, I'm just poking fun at her. I mean, them. Whoops. Maybe one day you'll figure out who it is. But anyway, she got it on video because she always comes in clutch with the video receipts. So
maybe we'll drop it. You can't really see his face, so I guess we don't have to worry about being sued or anything.
No.
And there's a request to this anonymous friend. Please drop the one with the loop.
She was on it with that one. But we might drop it on the socials. But moving on. So I actually wanted to ask you about Comic-Con real quick. I've never been, but I kind of like using context clues about how you and people talk about it and like stuff on the internet. I think they're called panels, correct? What panel are you most excited for?
So let me just start by saying San Diego International Comic-Con, you was almost about to have to count your motherfucking days because it took so long for them to drop the schedule. And we were like, who is going to be there? And there were buzzes around possibilities, and we saw some things around Marvel, but we got some official announcements this past week. So based off of what I've seen, and I haven't seen the entire list just as of yet, but Abbott Elementary, that whole cast will be there. So I'm pretty excited to see Quinta Brunson, Janelle, I'm sorry, I can't remember her last name, but the woman that plays the principals. Whole cast is going to be there. So pretty excited about that. I saw that a lot of Marvel people are going to be there. Some people from Captain America. And from what I heard, and this kind of goes in conjunction with if you've seen Thor, the ending scene after the credits, there's going to be a Thor 2 maybe, or follow-up to the Thor that just came out. And so some of those people I think are supposed to be there. So I haven't seen Thor yet. I may try to see it before we go. Yeah, so right now, those are the people that I'm pretty excited to see.
That's pretty exciting. Once again, I've never been, but I love everything you just talked about. Well, for the most part. Marvel, you're kind of losing me now, girl, but we'll see. If you have to have any time, go see like a boys panel, because you know I love that show.
Yes, so if the boys will be there, I'm going to try to see that. I'm also going to try to check out if they have any like NFT panels or around like Web3 or different things like that. I'm going to try to check that out because those are things that I'm trying to learn a little bit more about. Just like most of the general population, I'm still kind of confused about how this works. I understand that we add the value to it, but just trying to, get ahead of the game. I'm always about sitting at the foot of wisdom. So if there's somebody there that can kind of like explain it to me or anything like that. I'm also going to look out for if they have any panels around like, what's that show called? Not Umbrella Academy. What was the other one?
Stranger Things.
Yes. Because there's been... And I think, you know what? Actually, I take that back because I saw something and I believe it was proven that was fan art. So, and as someone who still hasn't watched the final series finale, I'm pretty sure it's not going to come back. I'm pretty sure it's done. So
He's still running up that hill.
I don't know. Maybe some people from Euphoria will be there. Here's hoping. That's just a real big hope.
That's not.
You just never know. I'm putting it into the atmosphere just like they did Frank Ocean at Camp Flog Gnaw in 2019. It turned out fine for me. It didn't turn out good for Drake. It didn't turn out so good for him. But I was fine because I wasn't one of those people who anticipated Frank Ocean being there. So
y'all really hyped yourselves up for nothing.
I won't boo, if the cast of, someone else comes out and it's not Euphoria. I won't boo them. I may leave, but I won't boo. But here's hoping. So I'm pretty excited. This is my first not international one, but big one. I do like the smaller ones here, Dragon Con, and I've done some in New York and just different things like that. So it's pretty exciting. We'll see. I'm going to try not to overindulge and spend too much money.
Never been to a con. And the only con I want to go to is CosmoCon from the Fairy Odd Parents. Because that shit look lit.
Fair. I'll give you... I thought you were about to say the only con I want to go to is the con I pull.
That as well, actually. Add that to the list of cons. Add that to the list of cons.
Con artists. Add that. Okay, yeah. So, welcome to all new listeners. Welcome back to all of the people who have been tuning in. We love you all, and we thank you for listening in. As you know, you can anticipate episodes from us every Friday, Friendship Fridays. And, we're just out here just trying not to be trash human beings, even though the rock we're spinning on is slowly disintegrating. Um, we're going to open, as you know, with an icebreaker. And this week's topic is going to have something to do around it, as we do every week. I'm going to ask Mickey a question that I hope he can answer. What is your definition of a flaky person?
Me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's all. Me. That's what I got for you on
You
that
think
one.
you're flaky?
I can be. Okay, so let me kind of answer this properly. I'm a lot better about not being flaky now than I used to be.
Okay.
I used to be very much flake master flex. Out. There was plans, I was going to cancel them.
There.
If someone texted me that they didn't want to hang out, I was like, whew. Thank you, Jesus. That could be anybody. It could be my best friend. It could be my not my spouse. Jesus Christ, I've never been married.
Your partner.
My
Not speaking into existence. Your spouse calls, say, I don't feel like going out to dinner. Woo.
Ooh, hey man. Oh my God.
I'll be in the guest room.
Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Anybody can get it. My dog, sister, best friend. If they want to cancel, I'd be like, yes. But honestly, like, I'm a lot better about it now because I understand people's time is valuable, and you can't replace time. Everyone only gets so much of it on this planet. Yeah. Additionally, I also have found ways to become less flaky. In a sense of, I'd be making tomorrow plans with today energy. I'd be ready to go today, and then the day comes, I'm like, I don't want to do shit. So now I'm more spontaneous about, like, I'm just going to call someone that morning and be like, do you want to do this? Unless it's something bigger, like a concert or, like, traveling. I'm typically, like, for, like, just a casual hangouts, I'm like, I'm just going to call the day of or maybe the night before. So hopefully I'll still have that same energy. But if I make it any more than, like, 4 days in advance, I'd be like, nah, girl.
4 days ago, I was up for it. And today, that's going to be a no for me, dog. That's fair. We're going to get into a little bit later, like, what are some ways you can kind of get around if you are the flaky friend or, talking to people who are flaky in your life. Well, Merriam-Webster defines a flaky person as a person not reliable in performance or behavior. And then they put a semicolon and hyperlink the word undependable to take you to the definition of undependable, which is a person unable to be trusted or relied on. Tragic.
Can you use it in a sentence?
I used to be a flaky person. No, but that's real. Sometimes you make plans and you don't.
Well, hold on. I want to change my answer then.
No, I mean, you said you used to though, but you have.
No, because with that, very specific definition. I mean, I was using flaky in a very like modern culture kind of way, where it's like, oh, she's like Pillsbury Doughboy biscuits, flaky like flaky layered or whatever. Like sometimes she's here, sometimes she's not or whatever. But when it comes to stuff that matters, I'm there. Like if you got to go to the airport, I'm gonna get you to the airport.
Yeah.
I've always been that way. If it's your graduation day, I'm gonna be at your graduation day. But if you just ask me to go get a burger on a Wednesday, depending on how tired I am, that plan may be canceled. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna hold you. Well, back in the day. Now, like I said, a lot better about like not doing that, but also like just know my strengths and weaknesses. So I just kind of fight with those.
I would say that though this would have to be repetitive. Like if you are always canceling with these same people or your friends or family or whatever, that I think that would go into the definition, because reliable means you have to show the behavior of being someone who is or isn't. It's not like a one or one-off thing.
Real hot girl shit. Amy, if you listen to this, girl, I love you so much.
Woo!
So I have a friend named Amy. Mm-hmm. Super sweet. Sweetest girl I ever met in my life. She's so nice. Like, honestly, I have nothing bad to say about her. She wanted to hang out, like pretty consistently, like just to hang out, like just because we text a lot, like we share like life stuff with each other. I was like, yeah, like we would make plans, but I would continue to cancel them. And it's not because I didn't want to hang out with her. It's just because I was going through so much mentally at that point in time that I just didn't have the energy to be around someone. Which I communicated that with her, and she understood, which was really awesome. Like she got where I was coming from and stuff like that. But we can get more into like why people are flaky and stuff like that later. But that's at least my experience with being flaky. Like, sometimes because I didn't want to go, other times because I was just like mentally, I can't be around a human being right now.
That's fair. So, has a shoe ever been on the other foot for you? Have you had friends who were flaky?
Yeah, of course. I think everyone's experience. Well, like okay, now hold on. For using a super Madam's Web dictionary version of it, yes, I would say I've had flaky friends. Oh, my cat.
Loki, I'm sorry, girl. You gonna stay back there?
Okay, actually, so yeah, I've had flaky friends. I'm sorry, I had to really process that thought for a second. Luckily, most times it wasn't like something important like my wedding, because once again, I don't have a spouse. I'm not married. Or like my birthday, for example, because I also just don't celebrate my birthday, so don't give you like opportunity to miss that.
Wow.
But I have a very recent experience with a friend being very flaky. That's been a tricky, relationship to navigate, mainly because this person has been so graceful and giving and loving and caring, like in the past. And not to say that they aren't now, but like it's kind of like one of those like, okay, like your behavior's changed a lot. Like what's going on? Like we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So currently in a situation like that. So
I'm trying to figure out how to navigate it.
Yeah.
Have you thought about it yet? How you're gonna address it, or if you're even going to address it?
So this is where my mental illness comes into play. Oh, I love my cat so much. So unfortunately, with like I have anxiety, which like I said, plot twist. We should just have like a sound bit that just says I have anxiety at this point. But anyway, oh my god, that could be a T-shirt.
I think so.
But anyway,
and then on the back it can say, "Don't overthink it."
Don't overthink it. But I have a very black and white way of looking at things sometimes, where I'm like, either it's this or it's that. And I understand like life doesn't work like that. Life is very much more gray than black and white. So I have not really determined what I'm going to do yet, because part of my brain's like, screw it. Obviously they don't care anymore. Just collect your bag and leave. The other part of my brain's like, no. People go through stuff, and we don't know what they're going through. Like, it very well could be that they don't care about the relationship. I'm not going to say that's not a possibility, but I feel like it would be unfair for me to be like, oh, screw you because you've been not, dependable these past few times. Like I said, people go through things, life changes and stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be times where I'm not going to be super dependable depending on what's going on in my life. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's important to, yes, understand where people are in life and situations arise. You may be tired. You may not just have it in you. I think where it comes into play is what you need to be looking at are patterns, right? So patterns mean that this individual is exhibiting the same behavior continuously, just over and over and over again. And I think that's where the conversation can come into play with flaky friends and how to deal with them, because you do have people in your life that go through things, and maybe sometimes they're not going to be as reliable in the sense of wanting to hang out on a consistent basis, or you make plans a few weeks in advance and you can almost guarantee that they may cancel it. However, if there's an individual who is continuously canceling on you, that needs to be addressed, because I've had friends who have flaked in the sense of we made plans maybe a week in advance, and then the day came and they were like, oh, I don't feel like doing this anymore, or I'm just too tired. I myself have not been afraid to say, and you shouldn't be afraid to say, listen, I have had a lot going on this week. And I hear Loki going crazy.
He is going fucking crazy. Oh my god.
He said, I'm not letting my foot off your neck. Not this week. But
Oh my god, he's so raggedy. I love him so much.
but yeah, like you should be afraid to say I've had a long week, or this is the one time I'm gonna have to myself, or I'm just not feeling it today. And I know I said it when I was in better spirits, but today I'm just too tired to even think about it. And I had this one particular friend whom we would continuously like make plans. And it could be anywhere from let's grab dinner to let's go for a hike to even down to like sometimes out of town plans.
Mm-hmm.
And they would always, always, always be like, no, no, no. And then there was one time I specifically asked them because they asked me to make them something because I like to cook or whatever. So I said, okay. And what they asked me to make, I had to go to, some special markets to grab or whatever. And they flaked. And I straight up told them, I was like, listen, I don't appreciate this. Like, I had to do XYZ. You gave me your word, and I understand you go through things, but this is just unfair. And like you said before, you have to respect people's time. Like, time is of the essence. There are two things for certain in life outside of death, which is the third. And that is, you're going to spend your way two different ways. You're either going to spend yourself in time, or you're going to spend yourself in money. So, like, you can't be messing around with people's time on a continuous basis like that. From what I learned from that is you have to address the situation. Like, I'm really about telling people how I feel. I've just always been open in that sense. And I don't feel like you can hold someone accountable for feelings that you've never expressed. So I definitely feel it's important to like let this person know that this is hurting behavior that they're doing to you. And like I said, identifying the patterns and the behavior. And if you address it and, there's like no change, you can't force a friendship for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What I really gathered or really like vibe with that as far as like what you're talking about is like communicating, because like that's what it really like boils down to in my head. Like if you aren't feeling it, just say that. Like just not appearing, that's one, I find that disrespectful. Like not only did you think that my time wasn't important, but you also didn't think like at least communicating to me was important. And communication is important in every relationship, platonic or otherwise. And apparently between you and your animal, because my cat's going wild. Man, I love that guy so much.
You are in love with this cat.
Because he's the best. He's literally the best thing in the world. Mutual
Besides
friend who will
killing me.
remain unnamed. We should probably post a picture of my cat on this Instagram. Cool. Anyway, like just communicating. That's really important. And when that's not to say like continuing to be flaky and have that behavior is gonna just magically become okay because you're communicating, but at least it gives some context. Because my poor little anxious brain will be like, are they dead? Are they mad at me? They must be dead. They must have got hit by a semi truck on the way here. Like, and then if I hit you up and you're like, oh yeah, I'm just at the crib, just didn't feel like coming, I'm like, you could have sent a text. You could have said anything.
That's a different level of flaky for me. If you just don't say anything at all, like if you tell me I'm not feeling it today or whatever, that's one thing. But if you don't say anything at all, or even to a point, if I have to reach out to you and you still haven't said it, I'm like, no ma'am, no Pam. Don't nobody have time to like be chasing after somebody. And relationships, yes, are important. Your friends are important, but you need to understand that yourself and your time and mental health is important too. And people playing around with you like that is not okay. That's why I said you have to address it. Some people don't know. Because I've had several people have to, let me not say several people, but I've had several conversations around like time with people in the sense of, for the most part, like, especially as far as when money is concerned. I'm a very punctual person. Now my punctuality has kind of dropped off over the years. I'm not gonna hold you like. You and Loki are raggedy.
Two peas in pod. Meow.
But yeah, I specifically had someone, because flaky can also mean not respecting time in the sense of continuously being late. And I'm talking about like excessively tardy. So, I had someone who told me that I really cared about in my adult years, that when they were like, I really love you as a person and I love your company and I love being around you, but the fact that you are always late really is a turn off. And I mean, this wasn't someone who was on a romantic sense, but they're like, yeah, it really upsets me.
I'm not gonna say it's that same extent with me, because once again, I have no room to talk. I can be flaky, or I used to be much more flaky than I am now. But there is something ever so slightly irritating about people who are late, or like consistently late, I should say, and not just like a little late, like 10, 15 minutes, but it's like someone who's like always like pretty like significant amount of time like tardy to things. You're just kind of like. It's also like on the other side, people who lack urgency. I'm like, can you just get it together and get here, please? Like, I don't understand why it takes you 17 years to put your laptop in your backpack, get in the car, and come over. You got something to say, unnamed mutual third friend?
That actually too can also get on my nerves sometimes. Like the lack of urgency for some people who wait, like okay, we have plans at 8, and you don't get up until 7.
Tell me.
And it's gonna take you 30 minutes to get where you need to go, and you know for a fact you will not be ready in 30 minutes.
Part of me thinks it's my anxiety that's like, I need to be on time. I need to like go. But I honestly I kind of admire the lackadaisical approach to life. Like, it seems so relaxing and stuff like that. But bro, we got deadlines. We got to go. Come on.
Especially if we're just hanging out, okay, yeah. But if we're doing things, we got to get out. Like, I'm just like, it's taking forever. I do understand though. Some people, they just wait till the last minute. Sometimes I'm one of those people who is just like, I don't feel like getting up or doing whatever, but I try my best, especially like when there are pressing situations, like we have errands to run, or trying to get somewhere. Let's say we're going to a market that's open from 12 to 5. And you don't get there until 3:45.
So sorry. It's going crazy.
Loki is really upset.
I don't. His personality gets more and more bold
and the
every
meow
time.
is changing. It's like going from potent to like, meow, help me.
Oh my god, that crazy cat.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, well, I know you brought up.
He's like, I'm gonna wait for you to talk.
Okay, he waits. I know you brought up earlier that you have put some systems in place to kind of alleviate your ability to be flaky in situations with your friends or the people you care about. What are some of the things that you've done? I know you said that you will, you've incorporated a little bit more spontaneity into your routine versus like letting some. How do you handle though when someone's like, I can't do day of, like maybe their responsibilities don't call for that. Maybe they have kids or different things like that. So I do need to plan a few days in advance. Mm-hmm. How do you handle that?
First, I don't hang out with people who have kids. Yeah. So let's start with that.
Yikes.
I mean,
or pets or,
fair.
responsibilities.
Actually, do I know anybody who has kids? None of them. I guess I have a few, like, moderately close friends who have kids. But anyway, I'm getting a little distracted. in those situations, because like you said, or like I said, like you said, like I said, I did incorporate spontaneity. But for those who it doesn't work for, what really got me back in like the golden day of being flaky, which was like maybe like 364 days ago, which was that I would make plans and then kind of forget about them. And then the person would hit me up day of, or I would remember like day of, and I'd be like, shit, I had to do that or whatever. And that would lead to some overbooking situations, which also did not help with being flaky because I'm like, well, can't make one of them, not gonna make all of them.
Wow.
Might as well
Fairness, I guess.
might as well disappoint everybody, which is my true MO in life. So what I incorporate now, and it's very adult of me if I do say so myself, is using a calendar. Using a calendar and planning things out in advance. Like I have a calendar for everything. I have a calendar for like events, like concerts or traveling. I have a personal calendar for like hanging out with friends or family or my cat. There's a lot of time carved out for the cat.
Wow, I bet.
I have my productivity calendar. That's just like going to the gym, doctor's appointments, stuff like that. This is a very recent thing I've started, mainly because I just am at the point in time now where my brain doesn't remember everything. Yes, I'm only 26, but I be putting my phone down and be forgetting where I put it, and meanwhile, it's in 2 feet away from me. So
Tragic.
the memory is not always the best. So the calendar really helped. It makes it a lot more manageable for me. Like it's not like a bunch of like surprise events like coming out of nowhere. I still like having some spontaneity. Like if there's like a break in my calendar and I'm like feeling it, I'm like, oh, I have some time today, I can go hang out with someone. It also kind of helps me have like a visual and like mentally prep myself for it, because I'm like, okay, I have I'm supposed to hang out with you on Saturday, for example. Okay, I have a little bit of mental time to get myself there and build up the energy to do it. But that's kind of what helped me.
That's good. I can see that. Like seeing it, if you look at it daily or every other day, then it just doesn't sneak up on you and you're like, oh, I'm so tired today, like I wasn't prepared to hang out or go to dinner or whatever. That's a nice example. I too use a calendar. I just reminders, calendars, they just help me. But I'm a very like analog person, so I always like to write things down anyway. So having the calendar definitely helps me. And just trying to like you said, address why there's this flaky aspect to this person, and then seeing how we can meet in the middle. So maybe not complete spontaneity, but don't plan things a week out in advance.
Agreed.
Maybe just a couple of days or the next day or even like the weekend.
Also, know your audience. I also say that. Because if you suggest something that like I'm actually like super interested in, like let's go to like a gaming bar, let's go watch the next Batman movie, there's probably a higher chance I want to go. So like if you have a very introverted friend who likes to like go out to quiet restaurants or like grab coffee at a coffee bar, don't invite them to no festival, because they're gonna look at you like, sure, and they're either not gonna have, they might have a good time, let me not say they're not gonna have a good time, but just be conscious of what you're asking them to do. Like maybe suggest options, so it makes them more appealing to hang out, whatever. Be like, oh yeah, like haven't seen you in a while, are you interested in getting dinner? Maybe we can get drinks, maybe we can go to like the park. And they're like, oh, I can jive with the park, and maybe there's a higher chance they'll go. I'm not gonna say that's like always gonna work, but I feel like that kind of helps me too.
That's fair. I can see that. And yeah, meet in the middle. Don't always suggest things you want to do.
Right.
Suggesting things that interest
that you have
that
in common.
Yeah.
Right.
That will interest that person to make them, be more inclined to want to come. I could totally see that. Because don't nobody want to just always go out to eat.
No. Okay. What else is there to do in Atlanta, really? Okay, so forgive me, any ATL natives, ATL hoes. This city is boring as piss. Y'all ain't got nothing to do but do donuts in the middle of the city because there's nothing else to do here. You either go get Mexican food, which is the only thing people want to eat. What do you want to eat Mexican? Which is I love Mexican food. I'm part of the problem. I'm one of them. It's me. I'm talking about myself. And then they want to go drive their Dodge Chargers and Challengers and do donuts around the city until APD shows up. Like, this city ain't got nothing going on at all. It's boring as hell here.
I guess it depends
And
on
it's
what
hot.
you want to do. I guess it depends on what you like to do, right? Because there are, you know, for your nature enthusiasts and people who like to hike, like me and stuff, there are plenty of places, not just the Chattahoochee or, you know, Stone Mountain. There are dozens upon dozens of places. Now, granted, yes, you do have to drive a little bit north of the city or whatever to get to these places, but there are a lot of things to do outside of that. There are thousands of trails in the city.
I know. I'm just spoken about it in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Mainly because, you know, I come from New York where I'm like, there's something to do at any given point.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There are other cities that have more scenes outside of eating. I mean, yeah, Atlanta's a really, like,
We like
foodie
to eat.
town here.
My
They love to
God.
brunch here. Brunch is life. And then you're talking about a city that's like, you know, got a very high level. Loki's crazy. You're talking about a city, you know, that promotes that kind of atmosphere, right? Like, you come to Atlanta to have a good time. People come here on vacation to get the city life, whatever that looks like. Because let me tell you something. All of the places I used to go, I'm at the age now where all of my hangout spots are gone. They've shut down. They've been replaced. It's crazy, man. I think about what I used to do back in the day, and I'm like, what are people doing now? Eating Mexican and
Mexican
brunch food. And going for pictures in, not Centennial Park. Centennial Park too, but Piedmont Park.
That's it.
I saw a post. One of my friends was traveling, and they hiked up this really, like, tough trail to the top of this peak for this mountain. And I want to say it was in, like, Indonesia or something like that. It was, like, a really beautiful scenery. And they said they were up there, and they were just, like, zenning out. And they saw this group of people. Apparently, there's a trolley you can take to the top. They saw these girls get off the trolley, splash water on their face as if they were sweaty, and then post on social media as if they had hiked.
Hashtag B. Literally me.
And I have seen that in Atlanta, too. I've been at Piedmont Park before where people will do this beautiful, like, setup. Like, they're having this beautiful picnic with all this food. And then as soon as they take the picture, they're just sitting there looking at each other.
I think the best photo shoot I've seen was someone doing a photo shoot with the U-Haul.
What? Were they not moving?
No. They were just... Well, okay, actually, as far as I know, they weren't moving. I didn't talk to them. They were just in front of this U-Haul, and they were dressed pretty nice, and they were out here getting photos. I mean, not professionally done. They were just using someone's, like, iPhone, but I was like... They're putting a lot of effort into that U-Haul photo shoot. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe they were just really excited to move, which is totally understandable. But I don't know if I would move in, like, what I would assume is a prom dress.
Maybe maybe they own a U-Haul now? Can you own one U-Haul?
But why the prom dress? I think we glanced over that part.
You know what?
I don't mind the photo shoot.
Maybe they were...
Like, what?
Maybe they were saying, I'm moving on from U-Haul to their ex.
That's a lot. I mean, I guess they didn't have to rent the U-Haul. I guess they could have, like, shown up for that. But, anyway. Jesus. This is a tangent.
Back to understanding your friend's interest and, like, meeting them in the middle. Yeah, that's important, too. And, again, we're trying to suggest, like, putting in effort to relationships you feel like are worth it, right? Like, this is not like people that you met and they're off the rip showing signs and you don't feel like the relationship is worth it. Like, you don't have to be putting in effort if people are showing you who they are. But if you got some friends who you really care about and you feel like the relationship and that friendship is worth fighting for, then you have to address it You know, like I said, I'm always a proponent for like speaking up for yourself and how you feel, and trying to implement some change behavior in those. So, what would be like your final thoughts on flaky friends?
Everyone has days where they don't want to go out or just want to like chill at the house or like want to cancel plans. That's normal. I would say for the person who's being flaked on, to, you know, of course, set your boundaries, take into account your feelings, you know, don't just put up with anything. Like if they're just like not being dependable and stuff like that, like that's totally understandable if you want to like have a conversation about it or bring up your grievances or, you know, end the relationship. That being said, also, like, I would say just communicate, because you never know what that person might be going through. Like, you know, as someone who does have a mental illness, like, there are just some days where I'm like, I want to crawl in a ball and sleep for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. So just trying to being understanding as far as, like, what that person might be experiencing and stuff like that. And then as far as the flaker, usually it's... okay. Let me rephrase that. If you can get yourself to go, you might be surprised how much fun you have. There's been plenty of times where I've just like got my butt up and went to wherever I was going, even though I really didn't want to and I wanted to cancel, but ended up having a phenomenal time. Other thing I will say is, if you continue to flake, I can't guarantee your friends are going to stick by you. I mean, they may stick around for a while, they may give you a lot of chances, but if you hit them up one day and be like, hey, Kyle, Chad, Thad, and Rad, you want to hang out? And they be like, who number? Who is this? Don't hit me up. Like, so, you know, be mindful of that when you
new number, who this?
New number, who this? Be mindful of that when you are, you know, starting to exhibit that behavior, because, you know, some people aren't going to put up with it. They're going to walk away.
That is very fair. And don't be one of those people who know you're not going to go or want to go or flake, but insist on people inviting you anyway. I just want to be invited. You really are going to be invited to an ending of this friendship. That's what you're going to be invited to. A funeral.
For this friendship.
The death of this friendship. I completely agree with all of that. Understanding that you can voice your concerns. You can talk to people, try to understand where they're coming from, but you cannot control people. You can't control their behaviors. If they are going to continue to show forth that this is just something that they cannot deal with in the sense of getting over whatever is causing them to flake, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and giving people space. Sometimes you can love people from a distance, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that's forever. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You just have to kind of evaluate where you are with that person and what that friendship means to you, and where you are in your life and kind of where they fit in to the equation. So understand that it's okay to put yourself first, for sure. And that's on both scenarios. That's for the flaker and the flaked. Like, you can be friends with someone for decades, and if they've been exhibiting this behavior for decades, that doesn't mean you have to continue to put up with it.
Yeet them right out the window.
Yeet. For sure. Put ye first. Okay. Yep. That is what we have for the flaky friends. You can find us on a lot of platforms. We can be found on Twitter at Funny Podcast. That's FUNI Podcast. You can also email us, thefriendshipuniversitypodcast@gmail.com. And we're also on Twitter. Give us a follow. Friendship University on Twitter. We just want to say a quick thank you to all who have been leaving reviews and following the podcast. You know, every little bit helps us continue to make content for you and get the podcast out to you. So feel free to leave a review. That's a really simple way you can help us out. It's free. Just give us a thumbs up. Get our socials. Follow us. Email us. Send a message in the bottle. Whatever you got to do. All right? We're out to next